Alright folks, how you doing? So in this video I'm going to be reacting to Ed and Lorraine Warren visiting a haunted Scottish hotel.
Of the supernatural. We're on Charter Cable, Channel 21. As always, we're glad you're here. My name is Tony Sparrow. Of course, I have host Ed and Lorraine Warren with me tonight. And you know, we're going to talk about a few things. One thing we're going to talk about is their trip to Scotland. Now, Ed and Lorraine Warren like to say to me how great Scotland and England are. I like to say to them, how come you're not taking me this time? I mean, I've been there before with them, but now they're escaping for about a week or so, at the end of August, to go investigate a haunted hotel. I begged, I pleaded with Ed, with Lorraine, can I come? Can I go? I've never seen Heather on the Hill. And they just laughed and said, well, we're getting an investigation going, but you cannot come. So, I don't know, maybe I'll talk him into it before the end of the month. But they'll talk about that. And they're going to talk about a famous exorcism, Anna Eklund. So what we'll start out with first, if we could, Lorraine.
I would definitely encourage people to follow this channel, the Ed and Lorraine Warren channel, which is still infrequently active with Tony, because he's the son-in-law of Ed and Lorraine. He posts videos every so often, not very regularly, but they're still well worth watching. Now, if people are going to come in the comment section and say, oh, you don't believe in ghosts and UFOs, do you? You're fucking right, I do. I absolutely believe in ghosts and UFOs and paranormal activity. And people might say, well, that makes you irrational, you're not logical. I'd say, thank you very much for that compliment. You'd be insulting me if you called me rational. I don't want to be thought of as rational, because I'm not. Because rational thinking is linear. It puts things into categories and boxes. And I like to think outside of the box. So if you want to pay me a compliment, tell me that I'm not rational. If you want to insult me, call me rational.
I simply maintain that computers are more efficient than human beings, not better.
But anyway, let's get into the video.
How did you get involved in going back to Scotland on a haunted hotel case?
Well, Tony, the case came in right after we got back from Scotland.
Well, that's inconvenient. You know, it's like when you've just been to the supermarket and you get home and you think, did I pick up that one item? And then you go, oh, shit, I forgot it. I think we've all been there before.
And it came through email, and there was a couple of emails, and he went into great depth. And both these people, both the husband and the wife who owned the hotel and bought it last November, were in police work. That was their livelihood. But I guess after so many years, like yourself, you can retire. It has nothing to do with age. It has to do
with myself. They told me to leave and never come back to the police department.
Sir.
You know how old that hotel is?
How old?
1422.
Isn't that amazing, Tom?
No, really?
Yes.
Now, that's an instant red flag. If you got a building or a structure that goes back that far, it's almost inevitably going to be haunted, because just so many things will have happened over the years.
It was an old courthouse. One half of
Instant red flag as well, whenever you're dealing with courthouses or justice or gallows or jails or anything like that. You know, most hauntings tend to be of the negative variety. Not all of them, but, you know, most.
it. One half of the building was an old courthouse. The other half is where people came to pay the tariff on their land, Tony.
Making a toll booth. That's what we call a toll booth. We don't have the toll booth in Edinburgh anymore. The old toll booth used to be right where St Giles Cathedral is nowadays. You can still see it marked out on the stones. I'll talk about that when I do walking tours, but the old toll booth in Edinburgh was torn down because it was such a hideous structure. But all Scottish boroughs and towns had toll booths. That's where you paid your taxes, and that's also where you got thrown in jail if you didn't pay your taxes. That was a local prison.
Wow. And executions.
And executions.
Now this is in Scotland, right?
Executions? Oh my God! You're gonna talk about haunted? This place is gonna be stupid haunted.
Yeah.
This is on the England-Scottish border, right on the border.
That's another red flag, because it will be the site of a lot of battles and bloodshed. You know, as English and Scots, or as Scots and English, I should really say. You know, we don't historically get along. I mean, I've got Anglo-Saxon and Briton blood, but, you know, I'm predominantly Scottish.
So the man speaks with a heavy brogue, very, very heavy brogue. Now, These emails came. Finally, we made communication over the phone with him. We were trying as hard as we could to help over the phone, but it really requires an investigation in order to be able to bring an end to things of this nature.
What's happening over there?
Well, it all started, this is how he described it. They moved in there with their 2 children. There's a whole quarters on the 2nd floor that's their private quarters. His son, who is 6, his daughter, who is 9, the son is the one that seemed to be very badly affected, right?
That doesn't surprise me, because children are much more sensitive to the electromagnetic currents, which, inevitably lead to hauntings, or are the result of hauntings, Children below a certain age, I think it's below puberty mostly, children are very, very open to psychic energy and the electromagnetic currents that, you find in haunted environments, whereas when you get past puberty into adulthood, that sensitivity dramatically decreases.
From the very beginning, and very frightened, and would talk about these figures that were in his room. He called them very big, big people.
That sounds like shadow ghosts to me.
And he could see their head, and he said he could see their shoulders, but he couldn't see other parts of them. Now, one night he woke up and he was hysterical, crying. The father didn't know whether the child was having nightmares or what. So he went in, he sat on the bed. He wasn't reading to the child, he was soothing the child. He put his hand on the boy's face. Mm-hmm. The room was illuminated. He looked, and as he looked at his son that night, that's when the realization that something was there came to him. There was a black, opaque form that took the form of like an opaque, big shadow of a person that he could see between his son and himself. It blotted out completely his son, who he was sitting right next to on the bed. That's where it all began.
Now, you consider these people to be very credible because they were police officers? Is that what they were? Police officers?
Yeah, well, it's not just, yes, they were police officers. It's not just that they were police, Tony. It's the fact that when they bought this place, there is one employee, one staff member who had been there 30-some years, another one that had been there 18 years, and they told them in a lighthearted way that the building was haunted.
Certain rooms will be more haunted than others, though. This sounds like demonic influence, without a doubt. Something let them in, something opened up the portal, because something has to actively open up a portal to let these things in.
But they didn't.
When you got a building that old, who knows how far back that goes.
Didn't know if they believed things like that. Mm-hmm. Now it has reached the point where they all see these dark shadows. They're losing a great deal of business. Things move all over the bar, in
Fire
the lounge.
Doors, slam them.
Doors going down to what he calls the beer cellar, mm-hmm. where the beer they must keep the beer where it's cold. And that door came and hit him very hard in the face, almost enough, he said, to break his nose. I can't. One time, him and his wife, this is about 10 days or so ago, mm-hmm. His wife had gone up to bed. He was downstairs. He was working at the bar with the bartender. There was a lot of people in. He decided to go up to check on his wife, who wasn't feeling that well. He sat on the...
That's another sign of a house being haunted, because electromagnetic frequency can affect your health. Not just your mood, but your overall body chemistry and things like that. When people are feeling nauseous, or you got a sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach, that's a change in electromagnetic energy. These things you really have to watch out for.
The couch next to her. Mm-hmm. He will tell you how many minutes he sat there. And he said, "Can you feel that behind us?" And she didn't. So all of a sudden there was a tremendous bolt, like more than one person kicked the back of the couch real hard. Mm-hmm. So they both felt that. And she told him that she felt it too. I mean, it was obvious. Then the couch which he describes as an antique couch that's very, very heavy, moved right towards the television set with the two of them on it. The doors open and close by themselves. What happens with the knobs, they keep turning by themselves.
It's almost like The Haunting, that movie,
It's
The Haunting.
almost like The Haunting.
Well, they do hear voices, too. They hear mumbling, which we call magic whispering.
Without going in the house,
This place is fucking scary, man. They need to get the hell out of there, or get someone in to cleanse the place. You know, I would have shut the place down and left ages ago. I wouldn't be making my family members sleep in separate rooms either. You know, when you read like Skinwalker Ranch and things like that, I've got the book about that. Like the family was all sleeping in one room. Let me know if you've seen the Conjuring movies. I've only seen the first one. 2 and 3 I haven't seen yet.
of course, you didn't, or the hotel, you didn't go in yet.
No.
But what's your gut feeling, Ed? What is it?
Oh, very bad. I've talked with the man, and I can tell that he's genuinely frightened. Now, the guy was a police officer. I don't think he frightens too easily. And from the things that he told me, you know, after 10 minutes, I can tell whether or not a case is genuine.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't be traveling 3,000 miles away if we didn't think there was something in that hotel that we could help them with.
You definitely
yeah.
think
And
it's legit.
we are meeting with an exorcist there, and a very influential member of the Edinburgh Parapsychological University.
So that's a good thing that universities and mainstream education are starting to take things like ghosts and hauntings and paranormal activity seriously at last. You know, that's something I approve of. That's good.
Of Edinburgh. This man is affiliated with the university.
Talk about Edinburgh. Edinburgh is stupid haunted. If you went to that place, certain locations at certain times of the day or night, my God, you would see some shit. You know, Edinburgh is ridiculously haunted. It's very haunted. I can feel it whenever I'm there. I've been to the University of Edinburgh. I didn't study there. I don't think I had good enough grades to study there, quite frankly. But I've been there a number of times, you know. It's well worth checking out, you know. I've been there like during festival times and things like that, and it's worth a visit.
University of Edinburgh, and is also.
I was hoping this time you can bring me a souvenir back. Can you?
Tony, much as I love you, man, and I do love you, stop getting sidetracked.
Bring me like a coaster or something?
Promise.
Anything.
Promise.
A coaster?
Promise,
Maybe a matchbook from a pub.
I'm bringing back some heather. How's that?
You're bringing back some heather, too.
I know.
You know, what's your last name? But,
Not sure that's an appropriate joke, given that he's married to their daughter, but, you know.
But Tony, you've been there, and Judy has been there, and we know how much you love it, Tony.
I love it.
But this is going to be.
Don't bring me back any scotch.
No.
Okay? I don't want any scotch in a quart bottle
Okay, Tony.
with a brown label that says
You want it in a barrel.
Glenmorangie. I don't.
Glenmorangie is actually a pretty good whiskey, actually. I got it for my last birthday, I think. I bought it myself for my last birthday. But it is a good whiskey.
Want that.
You don't want that. Okay.
I don't want a special bottle of scotch that's gift wrapped. Okay, I don't want that. But go ahead.
You want it in a barrel, right?
Yeah,
So anyway,
the scotch there, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Tony, shut up. Let her finish.
God, Sonny, shut up.
Is probably the best in the world.
it is.
I know because I tasted most of it. The single malt scotch is probably the best scotch in the world,
Oh yeah.
Well, I can't argue with that. It is pretty goddamn good.
bar none.
And anybody that's
And you'll love
that's
it.
listening.
Get some single malt scotch, you'll love it.
Yes, it is.
If you
It's
drink.
very
If you don't
good.
drink, you'll still love it.
But we're going to, Tony, we normally do not do this. This is one exception to a rule. We are going to stay in the hotel. We're
Are
going
you
to
taking
stay.
pictures or anything? Or what do you
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, Fox
Oh, yeah.
Television.
Fox is the one that is bringing us there.
Fox.
Now, a lot of people might say that hints towards the Warrens being phonies. I don't believe that at all. I don't think Ed and Lorraine are phonies or fakes at all. But what this indicates to me is that mainstream media, as well as mainstream education and academia and science, is finally starting to pick up on hauntings and paranormal activity as being something that's legitimate and real and worth paying attention to. You know, so no, I don't think the Warrens are phonies. I don't think that at all. Just because Fox is involved with all this, you know. But I do think is that the presence of the media in general will probably just get in the way, but, you know, You want to do these things low-key if possible. But, you know.
Fox Television is bringing you there.
Yes.
They're going to film?
Yes.
Taped film, whatever.
Like, you see all these obnoxious YouTubers who go to, like, the Perrin house, for example. That's the house from The Conjuring. They go there and, like, big, fat, loud Americans, you know, knocking on walls and saying, "Hello, are there any spirits here? Make yourself known to us." And they've got, like, pink hair and a million tattoos and these earrings. Well, I'd imagine the dead find these people as obnoxious as the living do. So, you know, they totally disappear and ignore them. Now, if you want to truly draw out spirits in haunted locations, it's like trying to draw out a cat or a very, very shy dog, you know. It's gradually, you know. Typically haunted locations, I've noticed this, haunted houses, they don't make themselves known right away, these spirits, you know. They're usually pretty shy unless they're very aggressive. They only reveal themselves gradually, you know. Even demonic ones are a bit like that. They only reveal themselves gradually, and they only respond to certain energies. So if you're going around big, loud and obnoxious hoping to see something, you're not going to see fuck all. But, you know, that's just a small piece of advice.
Let you know, ladies and gentlemen, when it's going to be shown, probably in October.
Well, the best thing, Tony, is that people could check our website. Then they know when things like this are going to air, because we usually post it.
Well, MTV wants us again to go into
Fairfield Hills,
and they want to film these 6 kids by themselves this time.
See, when you do stuff like that, you bring the cameras and you bring a lot of attention, a lot of noise. A lot of spirits used to be people, used to be human beings, you know. If human beings wouldn't respond to it, what makes you think that, you know, post-life or spirits are going to, you know. I'm sure you get what I'm trying to say, you know. Spirits are not going to respond to the presence of cameramen and sound engineers and producers walking all through the place and all things like that, you know. That's just going to put them off. So any sort of strategy like that is ultimately self-defeating, in my opinion. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little reaction, and thanks for watching.